There we go. It started now.
Hi, it's Rocky Fit with St. Joe Happy Running Events, and tonight I have the privilege of interviewing Sam Rockstroh, someone I know very well. I'm going to ask him some questions, the first being, Sam, when did you start running?
Well, there was this lady that made me run when I was probably about 5 years old, and would drag us out in the summer months, and I hated it. And me and my two siblings, so probably about 5, 6 years old, yeah.
And I don't know who that lady would have been. Some of you are understanding all this, but number 2 goes right along with number 1. Why did you start running?
That's true. Okay, yeah. Yeah, originally it was just because I'd get grounded if I didn't.
There you go.
And I think probably the unnamed individual that, made me run, was probably thinking that it would help tire me out. I know I had a lot of energy as a kid, and also, it's good for me. It was, so yeah, that's probably why I started.
And now that you're an adult, why do you continue to run?
Well, so I could go on for a long time with this answer, but probably sometime in high school, my older brother had joined the cross country team at his college, and naturally I wanted to be like him, and so running became more of a hobby for me. I would play, sports at school, and then I would either run before or run afterwards, and it became something that I enjoyed. Now to this day, running is I've seen it said that running is cheaper than therapy, and
Yes.
that's true. So there's that. I do use it to help with moods. I use it to help with stress. But bottom line, I love it. It's fun.
Yeah,
Somewhere along the line, it just became fun.
running is fun. I second that. Sam, what is your favorite running memory?
Someone else asked someone else that question at one point, and there's a lot I could say, a lot of different memories, because I've been running now for 26 years, give or take, but it's actually one of my earliest running memories. When I was either 5 or 6. Sunburst, a local race here that still goes on. My papa signed up to run the 5K with me, and I was my first race ever, and I just thought it was the coolest thing that my papa, and he ran every step of the way with me, all 3 miles.
Very special. All right, Sam, what is the longest distance you have run?
Well, not as long as other people in the room, but I, in 2020, signed up for the GE40, a race which I think is back this year, actually.
Transformed.
Yeah, and of course then COVID hit and ruined everything, so, but me and, yourself, decided to run it anyway, and so we just went to Potato Creek and ran 40 miles.
That was a good day.
That was the longest I've ever run.
Yeah, that was a fun day. Number 6 is, why did you become a part of St. Joe Happy Running Events?
Well, partially by default, when someone that is your mother tells you to do something. No, I'm kidding. I was glad to be, yes, my mom did start this, but I was glad to be part of it. It's nice to have some sort of, partially it's hard to make friends these days, so, it's a natural community to be part of, but I love running, and I love, in general, fitness and activity, and that's the goals of it, is to get people together, to get people out moving, to share the love of running, and especially, when we started it, it was in the midst of COVID being really bad still, and so their races were canceled, and so it's like, we need something, I need an outlet, and so that was kind of the way we got an outlet, was to let's just do our own thing.
Yeah, excellent. A couple more questions. What is your funniest running story?
So I debated on whether or not I should share this or not, because it's probably way TMI. But if you if you spend much time in the running world, you're going to find that the standards are different there. I'm sure you can attest to that yourself. So when I was training for my first marathon in, or maybe it was my second, I don't remember, in the summer of like forever ago, I was in Wisconsin for a weekend, actually at the school that I went to there, but not for school, weird. But I had decided to run. My best friend just happened to live about 12 miles off campus, and he was there for the summer, and so I was like, hey, I'm gonna run from campus to your house. And but the morning of, my youth pastor at the time that I was working with decided to surprise me and took me out for a burger and shakes, and then I promptly set off, and it was probably a nice 85 degrees. And I don't know if you've ever done anything like that, but it's not a good idea to, and back then I was much faster and pushed myself a lot harder. And so right around probably mile 7, I started having intense stomach cramps, and things were not well. And but when you're in the backwoods of Wisconsin, there's just not a whole lot of options. So my shirt was left behind in the woods.
Oh boy.
And
I have heard the story.
yes, and it's probably still there to this day. And so then I just continued to run shirtless, and I started to feel awful again. And so I went into a gas station that, of course, said no shirt, no shoes, no service. And I think I must have had a really panicked look on my face, because the guy didn't even question. He was like, hey, look, when you gotta go, you gotta go. Let me in. So, yeah, like I said, probably TMI, but
Now the whole world knows.
I learned some important lessons that day. So.
All right, we'll find out those lessons at another time. But the last question, if a zombie apocalypse were to strike, what would be your weapon of choice?
Oh man, who put these questions
I don't
together?
know.
That is a great
Some
question.
crazy person.
I wrote that question, but I didn't really think about the answer too well. I would probably say some sort of sword. I'm no good with any sort of projectile weapon, so
Okay, sword.
if I were to not become a zombie, which would happen eventually anyway, probably a sword.
Okay, sword would be Sam's weapon of choice. Now you've gotten to know another member of the St. Joe Happy Running events. You've seen a couple interviews with me, and the plan is to do more interviews on down the road, but Sam was the first one to volunteer, and of course Daisy Jane, the naughty beagle, who's being very well behaved at the moment. She's always the star of the show. But thank you for watching, and thank you for your participation in our events. Have a great day.